Boom, live and alive on the TruMon Show once again with my great brother Prashant PT,
Yeah,
Prashant
yeah.
Trivedi. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Yannick. Hope everything well out there as well in Canada.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything is super fine. Better than good, better than most, and sometimes
Yeah.
even better than that. So it can get any
Yes.
better. I'm
Yes.
not
Yes.
I'm not mesmerized and in fear and in full submission to the
Yeah.
authority with their oaks going on,
Yeah.
because I think it's clear now to many of us that what's going on with the coronavirus is oaks is like I even wonder sometimes if there is anything going on. I don't think so. I think it's
No.
just and but my question to you to start, because we would like to expand also on the topic of what's going on in the world right now. But my question to you would be, how did we get here so controlled by fear? Because their number one thing to control us is the fear, is and the perception of reality that we have also, like to control our perception through the information that we receive, and then they can even
Yes.
control our action.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how
Yes,
did
Yannick.
we
I
get
think I think we should start from the last century. Okay.
okay.
To get this answer, we should start in the last century. And if you look at 20th century, okay, as a whole, 20th century, you know, so the whole 100 years, what is the main thing of that century? To me, like as a whole, 20th century is a century of cinema, films. Okay, okay,
The cam era.
camera. Yeah, so it is the century of films. Okay, now if you notice from 1920s onwards, 20s when the movies started, like in 20s, 30s, 40s, and then later television came, then programs came on television. Okay, program. Okay, and there were films. Okay, so then if you look at 20th century, what are the biggest names in 20th century? Okay, all the people like who are big and who are known to the masses, who are big people, like are actors, right?
Yeah.
Like the biggest celebrities of 20th century are actors. Okay, there was a new breed which became like earlier there used to be people of knowledge. Okay, people who knew something, people who are like okay, that used to be the people who were seen as something. Okay, but not in 20th century. 20th century, the whole focus shifted to a thing called acting. Okay, so everything was just a movie, like a film. Okay, and masses were slowly watching cinema, and then they were just getting lost in this unrealistic world. What is cinema and film is unreal world. Okay, like camera is not at fault here. Camera, you can do real things, you can show real things with camera, right? Okay, if somebody's doing something real, you can show that as camera as well. You don't have to act. For example, right now I'm talking to you, camera is there, you are there, there's camera, but we're just talking. Okay, like we don't have to be acting here. It's not a like a script we have to be following or in saying or something like that or anything like that. My point was for human being, which I said human lifespan, which is very short, like 90, 100 years maximum around here. And why would you waste that in a thing called acting when you don't even have time to be yourself and to act upon yourself? You don't even have enough time for that. Why would you do that? And if you notice, if people are ready to see cinema as real and actors as celebrities, okay, and if they're going to celebrate actors as some big people the masses have done, like over and over and over again in the last 100 years from 1920 to 2020, right? Okay, that is what has happened. Then what is happening right now is bound to happen. Okay, because what is happening right now is what? It's also a film, it's a movie, it's scripted.
And they say
Okay,
it themselves also when
it
they
is
refer.
scripted. There are actors,
Yeah.
which is media. Okay, there is see, it is the same thing. But what was moon landing? Like when man, we have discussed that before. What was moon landing? That was a film. Okay, that was again a movie. Okay, Now, if you believe a movie to be real, okay, if you believe a movie to be real, like I'm saying, you have to not be very conscious. Okay, your conscious mind and functioning must not be functioning where you start believing, like, otherwise it said, like, like kids believe in films, kids think the films are real, right? They always say kids, only adults are not supposed to believe that. Adults know it's a movie. An adult is supposed to know this is a film, it's not real, it's not really happening. Okay, but after 100 years of cinema and film, people don't know what is the film and not anymore. So even the adults are not adults anymore, right? Because if you are an adult, then why would you celebrate an actor as a celebrity? If
Exactly.
you are an adult, my question to you is, why would you? But so that's what I'm saying. So people are not being adults actually in the last 100 years. This has been happening over time for a long time now. And people understood now that with the masses, you can get away by showing a movie, you know, and creating a movie. Now a movie has been created and everybody is believing it. Just all that is required is actors. Okay. So actors have become presidents. Actors have become, you know, and that has happened. I mean, actual actors from Hollywood became presidents, and some are presidents which are not called actors but are actors. Okay. So everything in the 20th century was about acting, right? And turned into acting. And acting was celebrated as the biggest thing on this plane. Okay. Like everything which happens, acting was the biggest thing. Okay. So that's the result is right now in front of you. That is what is right now in front of you. That's how we have gotten here. We have gotten here after 100 years of cinema and films and programs. Okay. That's how we are in this situation where this is a film only, and these movies were made before as well, which was showing that we are going to do this, and this is going to be scenario, which is called predictive programming now. And where people have watched that and they think, okay, this is a normal thing, this is how things will happen. And where have people learned most of the things from? Like if you ask people from 1960s onwards, where have you learned this from? They will always say, I watched that in a movie. Where have you learned this from? They say, I watched it in this movie. Where did you learn how to behave like this from? They said, I learned it in that movie. So these are actually your teaching tools, which are telling you what is to happen, how you should behave, what you should do in any situation, what should be your reaction to anything. All that is being taught to you via this thing. So, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
lots of
Yeah.
conditioning happening
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
movies. That's why there's so many. Is that you go
Yeah.
by? There used to be a movie club, video club. You used to go rent them. Now it's
Yeah.
streaming, Netflix, and all kinds of stuff that they throw at you just for you to be distracted. Honestly,
I
that's
mean, how many virus and pandemic movies have been there in the last 10 years even?
at least
There may be hundreds.
yeah.
Okay, that this is going to be the case. Okay. So when all those movies work and finally you create a movie in for real.
Yeah.
Okay. My point is that masses, like, that's the whole point. Why are actors being worshipped as celebrities and gods?
This is
Because
what I wonder sometimes.
yeah, I mean, because they have nothing to offer. You know what I'm saying? They're just reading some script which some director has given them, which something false, which has got nothing to do with anything. Okay. So nothing to do with human evolution, nothing to do with your own any improvement, nothing to do with anything. And
Absolutely
that,
nothing to do with
yeah,
reality. They don't have nothing to
yeah,
offer concerning reality. Also,
yeah,
it's
nothing. And whatever they're doing is they're just taking people in a wrong direction, even more than that, you know, through their misinterpretation of things and through showing up wrong behaviors and wrong actions. And knowing that people will copy that. They know whatever they show, people will copy. Okay. So so that is a very, very wrong thing to do, like in karmic way as well, like you to take a lot of people down the wrong direction when you know that is going to the case. And my point was, if when people started celebrating actors as celebrities, as gods, that's when things had already gone. You should see that as a sign that the intelligence, the perspective of masses is not in anywhere where it should be. It's not connected with nature, it's not connected with divine, it's not anywhere where it should be. It should be big red lights, you know, that things are very wrong here. Like this is all in a very wrong direction, the whole thing. This and that's what has happened, and people have believed it. That's why the people believe the moon landing. People and I mean the people did this whole, like, there was some car in the space which was total CGI, like it was totally apparent CGI. It was just a film, like, but still people were believing, so all these things have come before, and this has happened afterwards, because they know, like, through that, any movie, like, what is this? Is a movie script, right? Like, okay, this virus comes in a, like, a whole, that thing, epidemic happens through that, and it just, that thing is just a script, like, you know there has to be no reality to any of it. so
It's
so
very
so
silly also because it's not about upliftment and progress. The most movie you're gonna watch, it's all about
yeah,
you're gonna feel more depressed after. So
yeah,
often you kind of put a little camouflage on that depression because you don't want to admit to yourself that
yeah,
you're being depressed. But
yeah,
very often,
yes. and
yeah,
and I don't think it's about fear even. I'm saying it's beyond fear even, because I think it's about everything. Like they can, through movies, make you feel like this is the right thing to do, that is the right thing to do, or make you feel even more special. There are movies where they can make you feel more special than you are, and then what your actual reality or actual that thing is. So it's not just about fear. It can work either way. Either they can generate fear, or generate a whole lot of self-importance, or a lot of other way around things. They can generate a lot of courage for nonsense. They can generate courage too for nonsense. Okay, through film. Okay, like where people will feel like, okay, this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to die for. That I should die for this. Okay, so it's not just fear which is generated through this. Like all kinds of craziness can be generated through this
and
medium.
all
Yeah,
this to
yeah,
manipulate our perception also of
yeah,
reality is very important.
yeah, yes, yes. So it's not just that. Like it's not just about like fear. Like it's about as a whole. You know, like molding you and shaping you in a way where your behavior will be such that you will not be able to evolve. Final goal is one, that it will not teach you a single thing. You need to take control of your own body or your mind and your spirit to actually evolve. That is the bottom line. Like, you know after that, whatever emotion, even courage, is fine for them. They don't mind if you have courage. But for nationalistic view, fighting other country or that thing, or doing this, like they can make people fight aliens now. So like an alien war can be created, and people will be fighting aliens which they can't see. Okay, and they can drum up courage for that. Okay, okay, like it's not a matter of fear, it's a matter of drumming up courage. But that will be just foolishness. Okay, not courage. So yeah,
Why also in that same range, why also have we come to believe, and the word believe is big there, it's not
yeah,
knowing, have come to believe anything that is unseen, that we cannot see with our eyes and verify with our own senses, if like virus, whatever, supposedly terrorist event that have happened, or aliens,
yeah,
or
yeah,
anything that we don't see, we believe it.
yeah. Yeah, because that's where the film comes into play, right? Because film is a visual medium, right? Okay, and it'll actually show those things to your eyes. Okay, so you might not have ever seen it in person, but if you have seen it on film, then you know it is there,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
because it's a visual medium. Okay, it's a visual medium. It is working on your eyes only, right? So your eyes are actually seeing that. In a movie, you were actually seeing that. So you've seen the alien in the movie. So now at some place within you, it exists. Because and if you had never seen it in person or in a film, okay, then it will never exist for you. Okay.
To embedded image in our brain is very
Yeah.
important. Through
Yeah.
movies.
Because so it's a visual medium, right? It's a visual medium. Okay.
Okay.
It's a visual thing. Okay. So because that has a deep impact. It has a deeper impact than what people think it has. Okay. Like right now also.
Yeah.
Okay. We just got disconnected a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, right now also, like if you notice, like with this particular thing, with whatever this thing is, they have to have an image of this so-called whatever virus. They have to have an image. Why is that image so important? If they try to do this without that image, it will not work. You have to have the CGI image.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This movie is not going to work without that image.
That's what I've noticed.
Nobody's asking. Yeah.
Everywhere on the news, you always see a CGI of the virus, like this.
Yeah, that image has to be continuously there. It has to be there because, and that is nobody asking how did you get this image? Where did you get this image from? Because it's openly CGI. It's not a photograph. I mean, because they say it's so small and that thing, and how do you know this is how it looks like? What is this?
Yeah,
You know,
why we don't
nobody's.
see the actual thing on TV and the actual test being done and how it's done and everything, and
No,
the people sick we don't see nothing of that.
no, you're not seeing an electron microscope or image of anything.
Yeah.
Okay, because there'll be nothing like that. There is nothing. That is just an artistic CGI representation of anything, whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that was there way before 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, this existed. The same CGI. So what I'm saying is that, again, the image is very important. And it has to be like a movie. It doesn't have to be real. In a movie, they just show anything, right? Like if they show a virus, they just show anything, right? Like this is the virus. Okay. This is the same here, right? It's a movie, right? You know.
And even here, the politicians, you hear them talk on
Yeah.
TV, and they always talk about scenario, the
Yeah.
scenario, the possible scenario. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the heck? Is this a movie or what? Like
Yeah, because the scenario, it's a movie. Because
look
there's
at
scenes.
that's it. Listen the word they use, and it's gonna tell
Yeah,
you.
it's because in movie you have to go from scene to scene, and you have to know what the next scene is, and what will be the next scene. You know, you have this timeline. It's called timeline, and then you have all this thing already pre-programmed and prefixed in your script, and so all of that has to run as per the script. You know, so because people have not realized out here that we have like the whole plane with the masses have become just totally under the illusion of the film and the acting, okay, in the last 100 years, because it was done over 100 years, people did not feel it, okay, but that is what has happened actually, you know.
And
It is, yeah.
why do we need so much fantasy in our life to feel to what? Like everybody almost on earth is in need of fantasy, whether it's movie and
Actually, people are not in the need of fantasy, people are actually in need of knowing,
okay.
okay. People innate for any spirit, actual real thing is they want to know. Like they want to know what is this, what is beyond our perception, what is, where are we, what is this existence, where do we go from here, are there other planes of existence, what all is there, you know. People have an innate desire to know, okay, that's okay thing, okay. Fantasy is put there to cloud the actual reality, okay. So it satisfies your need to know without giving you the actual picture,
Okay.
okay. Because there's an innate need to know, right? And there's a desire to wanting to know. I mean, that's a normal thing. But now you satisfy that with the fantasy. So now you think you know something. Okay. Now you look at the sun every time, and you might wonder, oh, what is the sun? How does it work? What is this light? You know, which is there behind. What is this like? You know, and then suddenly you tell people, okay, it's nuclear fusion is going on. Hydrogen is turning into helium, and this is what is going on. Then you suddenly feel okay, like at least I know something now. Like, look, I was only wondering before, Okay. I used to look and wonder, but now I know something. So that fantastical picture which they gave you plugs in the hole for you a little bit, for a little bit, like Tim saying. And it gives you this sense of, actual knowing. But this is not the reality of what the sun is actually is, or what sun is actually happening. It is not the reality at all. But this fantasy has plugged that curiosity hole. Okay. So they know that people will be curious. People have always been curious. Okay. People will always want to know. Now, instead of giving any actual information, which you don't want to give, okay, you plug in this fantasy. Okay.
So is this why also we have an image of the Earth, so we don't look further than what is given to us? Because I'm I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that there's other lands that
Yeah.
don't
Yes,
even
obviously.
know
You have
about,
to say
right?
like just this is it. This is a ball. You're stuck on this ball.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to go. And that's it. That's it. You know. Otherwise, if there is something, if people came to know there are actual planes, we are on a plane, and there are other planes of existence, you can go there, then that'll create ambition, right?
Yeah.
Sense of ambition. I want to go there. I want to experience that. Like that'll create a sense of ambition in people. Okay. Now, by putting this, like you have taken out all ambition from them. Maximum ambition you will give them is that maybe one day we can have a rocket which can go to solar system or beyond the solar system, which is never possible, or nothing looking like anything which is happening anytime. You just put a carrot, false carrot, like dangling it in front of the donkey, like, and the donkey tries to reach for the carrot, but it can never reach for the carrot because it's hanging on it. Okay, it's like the same dangling the carrot in front of the donkey. That's what has been done, because that is not true. It's not real. You're never going there because there are no such other balls to go to. So
Okay, but
so
most of us will go for the carrot. We'll try to get the carrot because we're so dependent on the person that holds the carrot that we don't want to
yeah,
let go. That's how
yeah,
I felt before. Now that
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
starting to be
yeah,
more independent, especially
yeah,
in my thoughts
yeah,
and stuff, because the
yeah,
dependency
yeah,
on the stem, me, I
yeah,
say it in two
yeah,
words
yeah,
because that's the
yeah,
stem. That's what the stem they
yeah,
want you to go by. But
yeah, yeah. So I mean, obviously, like, so the point is like either people first, like when people are celebrating actors, to me, like when it was happening in 20th century when I was young, and I saw people are celebrating actors in all countries. I couldn't understand that. Why are these people being celebrated? They have nothing. They're not teaching humanity how to evolve or anything, or any which way. They are all taking people in a wrong direction. Actually, they are telling people how to use bodies in a wrong way. Human bodies are not supposed to be used in that kind of way. Even the expressions they are making on the face or whatever acting they're doing is not something which people should try and do. So why is this such a celebrated thing and people accept that? So that to me showed like this is already wrong. Now to people who believe that, you can do anything to them. People who believe that an actor is a great thing and is a celebrity, if you have that mentality, then anything can be done to you. Basically, you you are no longer like sane at all. You've crossed that line of insanity. There's a line of sanity and insanity, and you have crossed that, and you have gone into that insane zone. From that, you have to come back from that insane zone to this sane zone. First thing you have to do is actually say this: I am not going to do that thing to actors. I will not respect actors. Okay, I think it's a very, very basic thing which all masses need to do. Like, I will not respect actors or acting. I have no need for acting. I want people to be genuine and as real and as they are. Okay. What's the point of all this acting? You know.
that's why they earn the big money also doing this. And same
Yeah.
for professional sports, they keep the people entertained, so it's
Yeah.
important to pay them well. But do they
Yeah.
really deserve that kind of treatment? Like,
No, no, they don't. But this
Are
acting thing, yeah.
new
But sports is still, at least in sports also there are actors now, because a lot of sports things are fixed. So people are just acting. Even two boxers, if the fight is already fixed, then both are actors now. They so it's the acting thing which is the worst thing. Okay. If there's one thing which has taken humanity down as a whole together, it's one word: acting. Okay, now you have crisis actors. Okay, for different crises. Okay, you have actors for everything. All your media people are actors only, who read scripts. Okay, and tell you things. They don't know anything about the thing. They just read the script. Who reads the script? An actor. Who just reads a script? An actor, right? Okay.
also the guy that reads the news. It's a script. Everyone seems to go with a script. So
Yeah. So they are actors, right?
yeah.
They act. So what I'm saying is, if one word which has taken humanity to this situation and position they are in is one word, I would say, if I have like to sum it in one word, that's acting.
Like
If you take this acting out of the equation, and this respect and this that thing of acting, and actors and craze of all this, I mean, everything which is a celebrity right now is an act. Okay.
I see it, you see it, many other beings see it, but most are in denial. So, how do we come out of that denial state to realize not only the big picture, but also the small?
But I think for that, people have to start from the actual root here. Even the people who are in the so-called truth movement and who are that thing, they never hit out against acting. I have not seen enough videos or in anywhere people speaking against acting. Okay. Or saying that actors should not be that thing, celebrated. Like, there is no movement, anti-acting movement. Let's just say. It does not exist. I mean, if I missed it, I don't know, but I have not seen an anti-acting movement where people are against acting and those people who do acting. Okay. Like, acting is not a crime right now, punishable in any which way. Okay. What I'm saying is, but my point is that it takes away any kind of honesty, reality, clarity. All these words are swept by one thing called acting.
Yeah. The acting part is very important, also projecting images. But how were they dealing with? I guess the propaganda started in the 20th century, like you said, full force. Before that, like if we go back in 1700, 1600, it wasn't like today. So how were they going about with their master plan, which is
At that time, at that time, like, it's a question of possibilities and lack of information. Okay. Like, at the time, like, if you are that thing, if you want to learn something, you'll have to have access to the Library of Alexandria or something. Okay, now you have books. Okay, right. So if someone wants to know something, you need access to those books. Okay. So, and which not many people had. Okay.
Not many people knew how to read also.
Read those times, and like, so first you have to learn language and learn to read those languages which are in those books. Okay. Then get hold of them. So
that's why it's important we go to school, learn the language.
Yeah. So that was the way at the time. It was but as technology grew, they knew that things will come out in the open. Okay. Right now on the internet, you can get access to any of those books and any of those materials which were there in 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th century. Okay. So you have access to all of that and you're still not learning. Okay. So then you have to have this different thing. That's where cinema was brought in. And it was too addictive. It was the biggest drug, actually. Okay. It changed people's perception. That's why all the that's why, I mean, when people were saying even in 19th century that Earth is ball, a lot of people did not believe it. In fact, majority did not believe it. Okay, only in the 1950s and 60s when they showed like this movie of Earth from outside of that thing or like a round ball, then only people believed it.
Because
It was a cinema which convinced them. Before that, nobody was convinced.
Yeah.
You have to know that. Like, so my point is this: like, if there is a movement against acting and actors amongst masses, because that's even normal person, they might not understand. Like, if you tell them other things like this thing, that thing, they will say, "Oh, this is conspiracy" and all of that. Okay. To them, don't say any of these things. Just say like, okay, why do you respect actors? Just tell me one thing. Why are they celebrities? Why is acting such a big thing and a good thing? Forget about any of this conspiracy or not conspiracy. Just tell me this. To a normal common person, you can ask that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you cannot wrap your head around the fact that it's acting that you have in front of you, how do you get someone? Because the thing
I
is,
mean, that's you have to get people from at that basic level. You have to ask them, do you believe a movie is real? Like whenever you watch a movie, do you think this is actually happening?
yeah,
When you watch a movie, any movie in from Hollywood, do you think that this is actually happening or this is acting? You have to ask people these basic level questions. I think people are at that level where they need to like wake up from on that level, that this is not real, this is a movie. Even if they speak that from their mouth, that will help them. If you can make a person say this, then you can say next step, okay, that's a movie. Now you can see this, maybe this moon landing, and see whether this is a movie too or not, or whether actors are involved or not. Like next stage.
there is also things that I have learned watching some of movies that I watch in my life. There's like good message sometimes. It's not all
Messages might be there, but that's okay. But are you idolizing that actor? Or
good. There's always an acting part
yeah,
mesmerize you in some kind of
yeah, that's fine. Because why can't be teaching? Like teachings happen for real. Like a teacher is being for real, and it speaks for real, and then you learn for real. Like I'm saying, why does it have to be some acting going on? And what is this thing called acting? Because that's where all the nonsense happens. You know, unreality in this world. That's what keeps everything in this state of utter confusion and complexity. You know, so like I mean, right now people are not clear about that. This acting principle at all. An acting word used to be for action, right? To act, like a human being has to act. Act means you have to do something. Okay, when you do something to control your body. If for example, if you have to take control of your body, okay, you'll do something. Okay, you'll sit down in a posture, you'll make sure that you are speaking in certain way and you're taking care of your body, you're taking control of. That's action. Okay, that was acting. Acting was nothing, something fake. Now that has been turned into something fake.
oh, so that's why we're not in action at all no more.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the fake act on TVs and that's
You have to fake act. So what do? People go to jobs and they act out there, because if they don't do acting, they will not survive in the job, right? Like, okay, so everything has become that. Okay, you're not taking action anymore. You're always just acting. Okay, so from the movies, it comes to your life. So everywhere the acting is going on. Okay, now when the whole atmosphere becomes like that, where everybody has turned into an actor, where everyone has turned into an actor, then what will you have? This situation. That was your original question to me. Like, why are we at this?
because everyone is acting in the movie of
Yeah, that's all. Okay, now what are masses right now? They're the extras in this movie, right? Like, what would extras do in the movie? They'll go home and stay at home and not come out and whatever. Like, that's the director has given that thing, and then everybody's
That's it.
Yeah.
People are all extras.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the doctors, nurses, they have their role. They are dancing on the thing and whatever they're doing that dance on. You have seen, and there everybody is doing their little acting role, like in this big cinema, right, 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 right now, right? Like, I mean, and that is okay because people are so into movies, so into scripts, and so into that thing that to them it doesn't seem anything is wrong. Like with that, you don't even know what action anymore is. You have no idea what a proper, real, actual action is anymore.
Even freedom. Freedom is a big word that a lot of people use, and I
Yeah,
hear it a lot
yeah,
these days.
yeah, yeah. But freedom, for that first you have to know action, right? For having any even an ounce of freedom, first you have to have some independent action first, right? Where is that going to come from? When you step out of acting, then you will do some independent action for real, like, and that real thing is not happening. Okay, like, and you are continuously, like, you're not facing that point, like you don't understand that everything is acting, like, and people think acting always pays. Or if you act this way, you act that way, you'll get money, or you get that thing, you'll get this job, you'll get that thing, you'll get ahead in life. 100,000 things will happen to you if you act. If you don't be yourself, you'll get this, you'll get that, right?
And actually, the most rewarding things that I've received in life is
Yeah,
not by acting, is by being myself, is by
yeah,
having
yeah,
great beings like you to
yeah,
teach me
yeah.
things.
So that's what, like, that's the whole point. But people don't go for that. But in this world, that's not what is considered a reward. That's not what is considered reward. Whatever they consider money or whatever other things, what you get, because acting pays a lot, right? Even the actors are paid millions of dollars. Okay, and then like other actors are paid different amounts. If you're acting in the White House, you can act in that thing. You act like a government. You act like this. These are acting jobs.
Yeah,
Or what are all the government jobs? Are they not acting jobs?
yeah, it's
From president down to, they're all acting jobs, right?
and even it's even worse
Yeah.
at that level because you're probably
You can act like the general of the army. Like, okay, if there's an army and there's a general, that's also an acting job. You are acting as a general. Okay, but it's an acting job only. And where have you learned how to act like that? That's also from movies, because they even told like what a general is like, what kind of dress does it wear, how does it speak, what does it do. There are whole blueprints for that.
and without knowing they're acting in the behalf of the cult, like it's a real cult behind the cabal and all the people that
Yeah,
control.
yeah. So until there is a war on acting, I don't think anything can change until there is a war on acting. Okay. So and which I don't see that even the truth community. They don't understand that acting is where the problem is. And if you allow for acting to happen and movie, and then this movie will happen like this. You cannot stop it.
But if I take myself like prior to my
Yeah.
kind of questioning period, I didn't even know that I was acting. Like you think you know something, but honestly, after I started to open my eyes and realize the big picture, I didn't know that I was even in a movie that I like. It's so profound that the mesmerizing that they do with our conditioning
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Yes. And but you can know that. But you will know that, do you respect actors or not? That you can know. Okay. Whether you respect so many, that right now also, when this movie played out, they called actual actors and they said they had this virus. And then the actors acted for 2 weeks, and then they came out like now they're fine. Okay, they were actual Hollywood actors, which was given this virus first. Okay, I'm without naming names. Because and they all said like, okay, I got it now, and they did their acting first. Okay, I mean, so whether are these people important? Because they do that because they know that masses follow these people. Masses take actors seriously. Okay, but I don't know why an actor should be taken seriously. I don't even know one reason.
I can find one too.
Okay, so I think masses can only be reached to on this acting and actor level only. And even if people, if you're talking to people, then you should just talk to them about actors and acting and why, what is their thought on acting. Okay, because that's where the whole crux. And if you are into that, that means you're not into reality, and you don't want to face reality. And if you don't want to face reality, then you will face whatever this hell which comes afterwards.
And you just have to look also at what they project on that TV box. And often it's like you say, it's actors. Like even here in Quebec, some have come out and say that they were sick, but it's always big influencers that people know. You
Yeah,
never
because
see 100 real people in the hospitals been shown to you and their story, and that they're going to show you 2 3 actors that people in Quebec know, and that's okay to them. Like,
yeah. So because they always, actors are more convincing, because actors are over the top. Normal people are not like that, right? Normal people don't have a script. Normal people will not say those kind of things. Okay, but actors will. They have a script and they act certain way. They are meant to pull at your emotional plugs. They're meant to do all those kind of things. Okay, like so, and people would rather watch that. So that was the whole fight was in internet also when YouTube came. Okay, now YouTube came, and I think then masses had a choice. Okay, now first time they had a choice. Do you want reality or do you want more acting? So YouTube has both. There was a lot of real stuff, cameras just real, showing real things. Right now also people are going real, like showing the hospitals really what is, there is no nothing. Like there is always real stuff, and then there is acting. Okay, so you have this choice. What do you enjoy? But people enjoy the soap opera, the drama more of the acting. The reality they don't like. So people had 20 years from 2000 to 2020 to figure out whether they liked acting or they liked reality. What do they prefer? Knowing, what would you rather know? So that is a choice which had to be made. And in that, a lot of people have not made the right choice. Okay, some people have woken up and they said, I prefer reality. I would rather have the true and reality. I don't want this drama or this game or this whatever movie they're showing me. I would rather have the you know so
and often also there's a saying that I remember from Arthur Christian. He always told me the one closer to the truth are the biggest liars, and that's another acting part. Like sometimes we think that what we are being fed is truth and stuff, but often it's just more lies because
yeah.
you look up to those that are close to the truth. But in
I mean, like there are things like when Hollywood is there and when they're making movies, right? For example, they are actually saying we are making a movie. It's real. Everyone knows it's a movie. Everyone knows it's a lie. Okay, everyone knows that, like I'm saying. And still, then people, and like in the case of government, they don't say that we're acting or lying. Okay, they don't say that. But in case of Hollywood, they do say that. Okay, these are actual actors. Everybody knows this is actor, this is director, this is that thing, this is happening, this is unreal, this is not real. Then still people believe it. So, like that's how they gauge people whether they will actually celebrate this thing. Celebration of actors, movies, that is what has been taking the humanity to this bad level they are. You know, like I mean, I also have films, but they're not films. Like they are just cameras and straight. You do something, you play something, or you say something, which is real. It's nothing to do with acting. You know, why should be there be acting? What is the need for acting? You know, unless you have some agenda, which is not so good. You don't need to act like Jim saying, So the whole thing here, which I would like to bring out in this, it's beyond all this thing is the crux of this problem lies in this one word acting, which should be action. You are a being. You should be acting for your own well-being. and to move, evolve. You know, you should not be acting to fit some movie or some agenda or some players. Like right now, people are little extras in this movie game, and everybody is ready to play the game, like the movie. Like this is a movie called Corona right now. Like you can call it a movie, like it's a Corona movie. Okay, and people are playing their different parts and roles in that movie around the world. You know, which is, it should never be the case. You know, but they're always ready to participate in these things, and that's when these games came out. You know, like different games on the computer, like where the kids were playing. You know, their Pokemon and stuff, and they were collecting that things, and you know, they were taking part in this worldwide movie, virtual reality movie. Like it can be virtual reality, VR movie, basically. So
And I think this whole thing also, it's also
yeah,
about, like, we are in an ocean, for sure, ocean of life and everything. And I see us all as little fish. And
yeah,
the internet is one major tool for them. But if you look at the end of the word, it's net. So a net, I found a net in a fish net. So is the internet there to catch the fish? Like, that's what I wonder.
yeah. It's an internet in the sense of it'll catch those things. It'll make a that thing who has sense and who doesn't. Okay, that's what I said in YouTube. People had a choice, right? They gave you acting as well. YouTube gives you that. It gives you reality too. Now, the if you fall for the acting, that means you've fallen for the net.
Fall for the
If you go for the reality, then you are not, you are outside the net. Okay, so it's again a very clear that thing, whether you're taking the bait or not. And that was given as well, because finally from the movie only so much you can do with the movies. Finally at the end, when the information was going to be out, because finally the technology was going to improve to that point where information was going to disseminate to everyone, you know, then a choice will be with people, and then by the time you want them to be more attuned to movie things, you know. So like people who like to watch series and things like that, and like in the past, and like programs, and the same people watch news and believe the news too, you know, because that's why the programs used to come. Like news comes, program comes, then news, then a program. Okay, you believe this program, you like this program, then you news comes as a program, you like that and believe that, and then the next program comes, whatever you like. Okay, so they used to come in that order. So you have become accustomed to that acting which is there in all of it, you know, and you prefer that actually. Like right now, a lot of people, even in their dealings with each other, I'm not talking about any system, forget about the system. Like let's take the system out. There is no system. Let's just say there is no system right now at all. Okay, two people are dealing with each other. Okay, right now other person will people prefer acting, that the other person acts. They don't want any real interaction, even on personal level, one to one, one on one level. Okay, they're not ready for any real interaction. For that, you have to first know as a being what to act, what you are, what to do. You have to have some clarity about any of those things, you know. That's a big responsibility, to be oneself and to have an action of your own. Okay, which is based on something which you have figured out, or based on something which you have to use to evolve, like Jim saying. And then you're communicating it to some other person, or some other person who's showing interest, or genuinely actual interest, not just acting out an interest. Okay, like being real about it. Then only even a real interaction will take place between two human beings. Okay, so like for that you have to get to that, you have to remove it from this level. It's not a system level thing, it's actually on a very individual level, on for everyone too. And if people want to do that, then I don't think any system can do anything. Like that has no power whatsoever to do anything about that.
Do you think at one point that glitch in the matrix that we are causing by saying no to the acting part will be big enough to create a shift for humanity to go
I
from.
mean, I think it can create a shift. That's what I'm saying. But I think there has to be a conscious war against acting. Even people like you or other people, like thousands of, like 100,000 people who have channels and who have, they have to hit out against this, but because they haven't hit out against this thing. Okay, there has been no actual clear that thing against this thing, and masses will understand acting or no acting. That is one thing they can understand. Okay, if there is one thing, they might not understand this thing or that thing or some scientific detail or not scientific detail. They might not understand 100,000 other things, but they can definitely understand one simple
There's
thing.
things in
You know,
life we're not meant to understand for us,
yeah,
probably.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
some
yeah,
little things like
yeah, yeah. But at least you can understand that. You should always start from what you can understand. Like whether, like, are you a kid completely who believes the movies, who believes that because TV is also a movie, news is a movie, that is a movie. Are you a kid who thinks of this as reality? And if you are, then you can say, like, okay, I'm a kid and I believe in that. But then you understand your level. Even if you understand that, then you can grow from that point and become an adult at some point.
But there's that
Yeah,
thing also, like you say, becoming an adult, because we're
yeah,
all baby state until we
yeah,
decide to let
yeah,
go of that script. And
yeah,
how do we, me, it took a personal effort exactly to wanted to wake that baby, but
yeah.
many are very, very dependent on the system, and to wake the baby would be
Yeah,
some.
I mean, if you disturb anyone in a film, they don't like it. If you try and somebody's watching a film and you try to disturb them, they don't like it, right? Because you're transfixed, isn't it? Okay. All you need to maximum you can ask is this a film or not? Is this an actual thing you are watching, or is this just this awareness even is a big thing. I'm saying just an awareness that you are not watching reality in this. Okay. So whenever these people will speak are not actual reality things. The same way the government people will speak, and I think that will not be a reality thing. That's why when the TV anchors speak, that's not exactly a reality thing. Just that awareness is a huge thing. Like, you know,
Huge thing because it can reconstruct all your
yeah,
perception.
yeah,
Ground.
yeah, yeah. That's all. Like, so I mean, because if people understood that, just even have some perception of that, the whole thing will change completely. Right now, also, whether people are, whenever people are considering whether this thing is a real or a hoax thing, this whole thing, they have to see whether this is a movie or acting or not. That's the only thing which will answer your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
When people get sick, so-called sick, and then they 1 week later they say I'm totally fine now, you know whether they are acting or not acting, like you can, it's up to you to tell, like, whether this is like, and this, does that happen really in a virus? When you even have a normal flu, do you go get up like that and jump around so quickly? Like, you, I mean, is that the reality? The reality. You have had different flu, different people, so you have an experience. It doesn't work like that.
and
So
also they know, like you said, that we have the need to know. So that's why also when you are the project they're tested, they test people for that coronavirus. But why do you test them if you have nothing to offer more to make them feel? Because it's a flu. It's a flu. Like I've had
yeah,
the
yeah,
flu in my life, but I
yeah,
recover. Most will recover. But what do you? That's why also people go get tested. They go to get tested because they want to know. But even if you go get tested, they have nothing to offer you
no,
other than a vague result or something made up or about I don't know how they proceed for the test. I heard
I
some.
mean, I think because people are just want to be, people are okay to be part of any kind of movie, and that's what they tested over the years. In 20th century, whenever a movie was being made in a city, for example, they used to call out and give her that thing. Okay, we want 1,000 extras, for example, 1,000 extras we need. Okay, so they will just say like from the normal local city they want 1,000 extras, and they would suddenly have 10,000 people ready to be part of the movie. Like this, then they'll tell them, okay, you stand there, you walk here, you do that thing there, you just go there, you do. And there were so many people ready to do this. Okay, so when they realize that there are so many people who are ready to do this, that tells you something about the mentality of the masses and the nature of the.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the testing which was done. Like when they were making movies, that was actual testing going on masses, which masses did not realize that there's a testing going on them. Okay, but it was going on them to see what their level and condition is, whether they are willing to be extras. And a lot of them are not even paid. Sometimes extras are paid like $50, $100 to stand here or there, or a meal or something, but people are ready to do this for free even, you know, like,
And it's all very, very nonsense also, because from one day to another, like I wasn't able to access the pharmacy here in the village the other day, not even go in. And from one day to another, I'm able to go in now. Like,
yeah.
what is that? Is that a movie or what?
Yes. Yeah, it's what I'm saying. From 20th century onwards, all we have on this plane on earth is a movie. Everything is, you know, it has just become one big movie. And then that movie from the directors can be go into any direction. You can go in a pandemic direction, you can go in an alien invasion direction, you can go in a martial law direction, you can go in any kind of direction in the movies. You don't even have to have a logical syntax for it. Okay, where or coherence to this movie. And a lot of the movies which Hollywood made, they had no coherence to it. Just one thing happened after the other, which didn't make any sense. Okay, a lot of stuff which happens in these movies, there's no coherence at all. Like like strange, absurd stuff happens all the time. Which doesn't follow any natural law or universal law, human, or how reality and things happen at all. So
So the logical sequence of event with those Babylonian, if we have looked at movies,
yeah,
would now it's that fake pandemic, but there's also, I think they're gonna come out with alien invasion. Like they're gonna
yes,
make people believe there's aliens and they coming
yeah,
here.
because all for that you just need holographic technology, which is there, Okay, so all of that is there. So my point is the movies have already made the way. So in the movie you can go anywhere in any direction. Like I said, this movie now script can go any direction wherever the director wants. The script goes. Okay, but finally it's up to the participants. Now this movie involves everybody. Like earlier movie used to involve like, okay, 1,000 people, 2,000 people who worked in that movie, right? Okay, but this is a bigger movie, so the whole world is that involved. Okay, in the movie. So now people have to say like whether you want to be part of this movie or not. Like I'm saying, for that you have to understand whether you difference between acting and real action. Okay, what is acting and what is real action? You will have to learn to differentiate between that. Okay, which is for a human, every human being should do that, right? Even if this was not happening, let's say this was not happening right now, still should people come to know difference between acting and real action. And we had talked about that even in the past in our talks. I had been one of my, that thing is called acting, I think, in my book, a page, and real action. And
You go
we
about
discussed,
new titles and everything.
yeah, we discussed that before. And I mean, that is there anyways. But I'm just saying, like this, whatever is happening is this movie era, this movie acting, putting actors on pedestal, seeing them as something great. That's why any people who are just acting to be certain. If someone acts like a president, then it's a president. It doesn't have to. You just have to act like I'm acting like president, so I'm president. It's not like you're connected to nature or you have any real power or you have anything. You know anything know about the universe, multiverse, nothing like that. Everything is just an acting job. You can act to be a Superman, but you won't become a Superman just because you act. Like, so if you just put that Superman costume on, like what's what, and they think now if I wear this, then I will. And people wore the Superman T-shirt. A lot of people actually wore that Superman T-shirt was like available in 80s, and everybody wore it, but they didn't become Superman by wearing that T-shirt. Okay, so what I'm saying is people have to finally realize that this is the fake game. They have to stop playing the fake game with themselves. Okay.
Do you think they're scared of us realizing that this whole thing is played out like a movie and that suddenly one
I
day.
think they are scared of themselves too. I mean, they are anyway scared of everything. My point is, finally, people have to be that thing. Whether people have to be more that thing, that whether I want to evolve myself, or whether I want to get out of the matrix, or whether I want to get out of the prison, whether I want to do that. You know, like, for example, if you want to get out of the prison and the matrix, you know, you will have to stop acting, right? Like, you'll have to do something for real.
You're
You
gonna
will
have to
actually,
challenge yourself for sure. Like.
yeah, yeah, you will have to start doing something for real. Okay, for anything in this world, if you have to do anything, actually, you have to do things for real. Okay.
No, might be easy to look to see what I'm doing here, but every time I come here, whether with you maybe a little more, but I have to challenge myself and challenge myself to be present and to
Yes.
go out
Yeah.
outside of my
Yeah.
box of reality and be willing to be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because the learning happens for real. Because real learning is a real thing. It can't come through acting. It cannot come through acting. When you're acting, you're busy.
Exactly.
Or if you're busy, then how will you take something or be present? You cannot be present to the situation. You know.
Exactly.
So even making people act, or even normal human being, to putting them and making them act, it's a horrible act on them. Like, it is. Why should a human being not do something which it wants to do for real? Like, why should it waste its time and go read some lines and be something which it is not, or doesn't know what it's doing? Why
Exactly.
should any human being?
We waste so much time on nonsense on and
Yeah.
movies are nonsense and all that goes with it inside.
And incoherent. And they're incoherent. They always have everything incoherent. Nothing makes sense. That's why people in the middle of the movie, they can always say, okay, how did you get from here to here? But why did this not happen like this? Why did this person not do this? Why did this not, like, you can, any movie you see, you can find million things like that, because they're not coherent. They're not like actual reality. That's not how things happen in life. And that's not how you can do anything.
Yeah,
You know,
often you're gonna watch a movie and you're gonna say, this is so stupid. Like I would have done it different. Like why is he doing? Why is he not yelling there? The guy would have known. Like
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
you're.
yeah, yeah. All these things, yeah, because none of it is logical, doesn't make any sense. So when people that thing and people think this is reality, it creates a fragmentation in their brain. It fragments you, like, you know, like, so this is a all part of the whole thing. Like, that's why you can't see it as real, because it is not real. In reality, things do not happen like that. Okay. And like, people, if like kids saw the Spider-Man movie, and then they, after that, they're going on the walls, and they think they can jump from the thing, a lot of people, kids will die just trying to jump over the out from the windows and stuff. So, but people have to see whether what level of maturity are they at, and they have to be honest with themselves, and they have to take whatever level they are at, and then make themselves more mature from whatever they might be at a kiddish level, but then they can mature themselves by admitting to it and changing themselves. you know this work has to be done at an individual level, and that's, if anything is a takeaway from this, that's all the people need to know right now. That even in this movie, whether they're going to be part of this movie or not, like, in this, as extras or whatever, like, you know you know it's all about the, like, the drama of it. Everything is like a drama in a movie, like, that's all. Yeah.
And I think it's easy to see right now with the present event happening. It's I think more and more are questioning, like especially when you come and touch their supposedly freedom. I think freedom is not the same thing that people have conceived in their heads. I think it's
Yeah.
much more than that. It's
Yeah.
yeah, there's freedom on earth, but there's also, like you have explained,
It's a
freedom.
prison. It's a prison plan. It's a prison plane. I mean, obviously, that's where you have limitations. You have restrictions and limitations of many types, which will be there even if the system wasn't there. Even if we take away the system, your lifespan will not increase. Okay.
Your lifespan
Okay.
will not increase.
Yeah. 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 Even if we take away that thing, your whole level of what you understand or clarity, that will not increase. A lot of things will not change, even if the system is taken out. So, so, so that's what I'm saying. Like, people have to take responsibility for themselves. And this acting thing, what I'm saying, people have to really think about this and ponder on this and really come to terms with this, like whether they want to start doing action, real action, and to understand the difference between real action and acting.
That's
Okay, is the most important thing.
it. Do you want to do
Yeah,
action or you want to keep acting?
yeah, keep acting. Yeah. For example, if you're going in nature and stuff, like you're dealing with nature, that you used to go walk or for a walk, then you get out of acting because there's no other person there. You don't have to act in front of anyone. You become more real. You start doing action for yourself. You know no one is watching you. You know that you, you can be yourself. Like you
Is
don't act.
why
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
why the phenomenon, because I call that a phenomenon when I go take walks, people say hi to me on the street, but I will meet those same person in a supermarket, they will avoid me, in cars they will avoid me, everywhere else, but in nature taking a walk they say hi. What is that phenomenon? How do you explain that?
Oh, I mean, because out there they know, like it's a role, isn't it? Which they are playing. If this is a movie now, if you're playing the supermarket role at that time, then these restrictions are there. You have to do this social distancing or whatever they have called. So that is the thing in their mind foremost. They that role. You know, when they're walking and stuff, they're not so much in that role at that time. So they change. It's a matter of role playing, isn't it? Like
Um,
all those are different role plays for them. So
it's clear.
So,
Clear
so
to me.
that's a compartmentalization. In acting, there'll be that compartmentalization. Like, so,
Because I
so
always wondered, I was like, why they're so friendly when they take walk in nature, and suddenly you would meet those same people elsewhere, wherever it is, and they would avoid you. They wouldn't even
yeah.
know.
And in nature also, at that time, they're not fully in that program, like Tim saying. They don't think they have to act so much, at that time. So that little bit of that thing, own action can come into play, and the acting can stop as per the system parameters, you know, because at the time they're acting as per the system parameters. That's why people always follow the system parameters in their acting role in that all the time. So that's where like people have to actually come down to that very basic level of understanding the difference and stop idolizing actors and as gods, demigods, which our society has created gods out of actors in the last since 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So
And often also when they have messages to give to the masses, they use those actors to go on
yes,
media or whatever to project
yeah,
their message. They use them as influencers.
yes. My I think my battery is going less, so I
Yeah,
think we can take the next thing for the next time.
yeah. Let's
And
move on for our next chat
yeah,
together. And
yeah,
thank you very much for your full presence and power here again today. And I will
yeah,
see
yeah,
you in the near future, not in a script. No, no, we're not following no script.
yes, yes. I think this was the point I think which had to be made
Yeah.
about this right now. So and like
But
so
I have a few more questions in relation
yeah.
to that. So the next one we
Next time we'll cover that. We'll cover that for sure.
that's it.
Okay.
Next, right?
Oh,
Listen,
okay.
sometime we'll be here together.
Okay. Okay, Trumon.
Courses,
Yeah. For action above acting.
action. Okay, well, see ya.
Okay.